An emergency warning has been issued by insiders from the Russian military that an asteroid will impact in the North Atlantic Ocean. The timeline for this event is imminent. This warning originates from YouTube channel Tom Lupshow. The Russian individuals that operate missile defense systems have warned that missile defense systems have been moved around so that they can take out any debris from the incoming meteor shower. They are using hidden rail missile defense systems. The State Department has been informed about this large incoming object that will impact the North Atlantic Ocean very soon. It will be a massive event, an extinction level event, with an imminent warning issued that an incoming asteroid is about to impact the North Atlantic Ocean. I've done some digging just to see what this major event would mean for all of us here on this planet of ours. This following warning of an asteroid impact that has been predicted to occur in the year 2880 originates from news ucsc.education, and this was posted on May 27, 2003 by Tim Stevens, staff writer. If an asteroid crashed into the Earth, it is likely to splash down somewhere in the oceans that cover 70% of the planet's surface. Huge tsunami waves spreading out from the impact site like the ripples from a rock tossed into a pond would inundate heavily populated coastal areas. A computer simulation of an asteroid impact tsunami developed by scientists at the University of California, Santa Cruz shows waves as high as 400 feet sweeping onto the Atlantic coast of the United States. The researchers based their simulation on a real asteroid known to be on course for a close encounter with Earth 8 centuries from now. Stephen Ward, a researcher at the Institute of Geophysics and Planetary Physics at UCSC, and Eric Asvarg, an associate professor of Earth Sciences, report their findings in the June issue of the Geophysical Journal International. March 16, 2880 is the day the asteroid known as 1950 DA, a huge rock 2/3 of a mile in diameter, is due to swing so close to Earth it could slam into the Atlantic Ocean at 38,000 miles per hour. The probability of a direct hit is pretty small, but over the long time scale of Earth's history, asteroids this size and larger have periodically hammered the planet, sometimes with calamitous effects. The so-called KT impact, for example, ended the age of these dinosaurs 65 million years ago. The simulation the researchers chose an impact site consistent with the orientation of the Earth at the time of the predicted encounter in the Atlantic Ocean, about 360 miles from the US coast. Ward summarized the results as follows. The 60,000 megaton blast of the impact vaporizes the asteroid and blows a cavity in the ocean 11 miles across and all the way down to the sea floor, which is about 3 miles deep at that point. The blast even excavates some of the sea floor. Water then rushes back in to fill the cavity, and a ring of waves spreads out in all directions. The impact creates tsunami waves of all frequencies and wavelengths, with a peak wavelength about the same as the diameter of the cavity, because lower frequency waves travel faster than waves with higher frequencies. The initial impulse spreads out into a series of waves. In the movies they show one big wave, but you actually end up with dozens of waves. The first ones to arrive are pretty small, and they gradually increase in height, arriving at intervals of 3 or 4 minutes. Ward says the waves propagate all through the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean. The waves decay as they travel, so coastal areas closest to the impact get hit by the largest waves. 2 hours after impact, 400-foot waves reach beaches from Cape Cod to Cape Hatteras, and by 4 hours after impact, the entire east coast has experienced waves at least 200 feet high. Ward said it takes 8 hours for the waves to reach Europe, where they come ashore at heights of about 30 to 50 feet. Computer simulations not only give scientists a better handle on the potential hazard of asteroid impacts, they can also help researchers interpret the geologic evidence of past events. Ward said geologists have found evidence of past asteroid impact tsunamis in the form of inland sediment deposits and disturbed sediment layers in the sea floor that correlate with craters, meteorite fragments and other impact evidence. An important feature of Ward's simulation is that it enables him to calculate the speed of the water flow created by tsunamis at the bottom of the ocean, more than 3 feet per second, out to distances of several hundred miles from the impact. That's like a raging river, so that these waves cross the ocean, they're going to stir up the seafloor, eroding sediments on the slopes of seamounts, and we may be able to identify more places where this has happened, Ward said. He added that the waves may also destabilize undersea slopes, causing landslides that could trigger secondary tsunamis. Ward has also done computer simulations of tsunamis generated by submarine landslides. He showed, for example, that the collapse of an unstable volcanic slope in the Canary Islands could send a massive tsunami towards the US East Coast. A tsunami warning system has been established for the Pacific Ocean, involving international efforts to evaluate earthquakes for their potential to generate tsunamis. Ward said that asteroid impact tsunamis could also be incorporated into such a system. Tsunamis travel fast, but the ocean is very big, so even if a small or moderate-sized asteroid comes out of nowhere, you could still have several hours of advance warning before the tsunami reaches land. He said, "We have a pretty good handle on the size of the waves that would be generated if we can estimate the size of the asteroid." Planetary scientists, meanwhile, are getting a better handle on the risk of asteroid impacts. A NASA-led campaign to detect large asteroids in near-Earth orbit is about halfway towards its goal of detecting 90% of those larger than 1 kilometer in diameter, the size of 1950 DA, by 2008. Until we detect all the big ones and can predict their orbits, we could be struck without warning, said Asfarg. With the ongoing research campaigns, we'll probably be able to sound the all clear by 2030 for 90% of the impacts that could trigger a global catastrophe. Rogue comets visiting the inner solar system for the first time, however, may never be detected very long in advance. Smaller asteroids that can still cause major tsunami damage may also go undetected. Those are risks we may just have to live with, Asfar said. I'd now like to give you my personal warning about this event. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. This is the information I'm getting, that this event is going to happen. Now, my information I have is that Earth is now continuing to go through Ison's debris field, and there is some massive rocks in there, guys, so the likelihood of an asteroid hitting Earth is pretty high. It's pretty high and should be taken very seriously. This huge impact will be the equivalent of many hydrogen bombs and will vaporize a huge amount of the ocean. A mega tsunami will be triggered. The wall of water could be 500 to 1,000 feet high, and nothing will stop it, and this will spread out for hundreds of miles. Stay away from the coastlines and have somewhere to shelter. Store away food, water and seeds, and make sure you are armed. This will not be a 3-day event, it will be an extinction level event. Good luck to you and your families. This following report originates from news.yahoo.com, titled "New Eruption May Be Brewing at El Hierro Volcano", livescience.com, by Becky Oskin, staff writer, and this was posted on December the 27th, 2013. 2 years after a new underwater volcano appeared offshore of El Hierro in the Canary Islands, earthquake swarms and a sudden change in height suggest a new eruption is brewing near the island's villages, officials announced today, December the 27th. After the announcement, one of the largest tremors ever recorded at the volcanic island, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake, struck offshore at El Hierro at 12:46 p.m. ET, that's 5:46 p.m. local time today. The National Geographic Institute reported residents on the islands reported strong shaking, and the quake was felt throughout the Canary Islands. According to new reports, the earthquake's epicenter was 9 miles 15 kilometers deep. Before the earthquake struck early this afternoon, the island's volcano monitoring agency, Pelvolcar, had raised the volcanic eruption risk for El Hierro to yellow. This warning means that activity is increasing at the volcano, but no eruption is imminent. A similar burst of activity prompted a yellow warning in June of 2012, but the volcano soon quietened down. Parts of El Hierro have swelled nearly 3 inches 7 centimeters in the past week, with the growth centered between El Pinar and El Restinga, according to Involcan, the Volcanological Institute of the Canaries. More than 550 earthquakes rattled the island between Monday and Wednesday, also centered on La Restinga. About 30 of the earthquakes were greater than magnitude 3, Involcan said. The earthquakes are triggered by magma rising underground, fracturing rocks and swelling the surface as the hot rock reaches upward. The earthquake swarm corresponds to a new magmatic intrusion, Involcan said this morning in a statement. Today, primary magnitude 5.1 earthquake was on the opposite side of the island from the ongoing swarm. El Hierro was the site of a spectacular underwater volcanic eruption in 2011, which severely affected island fisheries and forced islanders to evacuate. This next report originates from news24.com, and it's titled Hong Kong Reports First Bird Flu Death, and this was posted on the 26th of December 2013. Hong Kong. A Hong Kong man infected with the H7N9 strain of bird flu died on Thursday, the first such death in the city since the virus emerged there this month. The 80-year-old man was the second reported case of H7N9 infection in Hong Kong after one reported on December the 2nd. A government spokesperson confirmed the death of the man, who had been suffering from other underlying medical conditions. He had been taken to hospital after returning to Hong Kong from the neighbouring city of Shenzhen in mainland China, where he lives. Hong Kong officials have stepped up border checks and traced hundreds who had been in contact with the two people infected. The first case involved a 36-year-old Indonesian domestic helper who also had a history of travelling to Shenzhen. Health officials have expected human cases of avian influenza in low winter temperatures, given the number of cases in mainland China. In all, 138 human cases of H7N9 have been reported in mainland China since February, with 45 deaths, according to the World Health Organization. Hong Kong is especially alert to the spread of viruses after an outbreak of severe acute respiratory syndrome swept through the city in 2003, killing 299 people and infecting around 1,800. This final report originates from NibiruRise.com, titled Nibiru. Is Nibiru causing devastatingly horrific weather? Nibiru may be causing one of the worst tornado seasons in US history. Could it be possible that Nibiru is responsible for the increase of horrific weather? Nibiru has been said to be the harbinger of devastating events, but could Planet X Nibiru be responsible for the rash of extreme weather conditions the Earth has been having as of late? You don't have to do anything more than to turn on your television. What you will see is news story after news story of horrific weather, not to mention the massive amounts of life loss from these extreme weather-related events. Huge bushfires in Australia, flames so massive that they can easily be seen from space. Is Nibiru to blame in all of this? Could Planet X Nibiru be responsible for these life-altering events? Antarctica is known for its icy snow and cold, but recently Antarctica has been having massive rainstorms not seen on record before. Could Nibiru, as it enters our solar system, be causing this? Siberia is known for its extreme cold temperatures, but as of late Siberia has gone through its coldest winter in over 100 years. Scientists are baffled at this. Because on the other side of the world in Australia, temperatures are on the extreme opposite, causing horrific firestorms. Global warming is immediately put to blame by mainstream media, but what if the culprit to these events is none other than Planet X Nibiru? Could Planet X Nibiru, as it enters our very own solar system, be causing our very own planet Earth to wobble? Some Nibiru enthusiasts are speculating that as Nibiru enters our solar system, planet Earth will begin to wobble, which may also cause a pole shift. These two massive events would absolutely explain a lot of the extreme weather phenomena taking place on our planet at this very moment. Another event that would point to Nibiru's arrival is the massive amounts of MSMs, aka extreme tidal surges, taking place on coastal lines the world over. We have seen it in the news. The number of shipping accidents has surged tremendously. Human error is usually cited immediately as the cause and blame by the mainstream media. But what if there was an even bigger cause to these events? Could the tidal surges be caused as Nibiru arrives, plays a role in these horrific accidents? But shipping accidents are not the only occurrence that can be cited as proof of the effects of Nibiru Planet X's return. 75 or 33 of the world's major river deltas are experiencing flooding on a level never before seen. According to Nibiru researchers, this will only continue to get worse as Planet X Nibiru continues to cause a full Earth pole shift. Bizarre weather patterns are a good signal that Nibiru could be arriving. Extreme cold in Russia and extreme heat in North America would definitely point to a massive Earth wobble. In some cases, these extreme weather patterns of extreme heat is on one location and extreme cold in another has taken place, with these two locations not being more than 1,000 miles apart. Tens of thousands have lost their lives to these extreme natural weather disasters. Could these deaths have been prevented? The evidence is stacking up. Whether you look at the Samoa tidal surges, some of which are the highest in recorded history, or the massive tidal surges on the coast of Scotland, which eyewitnesses say were beyond understanding, especially since there was no wind to accompany these latest massive tidal surges off the coast of Scotland. Or the massive heat waves shutting down airports in Rio de Janeiro, causing massive blackouts, which in turn cost even more lives due to the lack of air conditioning. But if that isn't enough, massive snowstorms have been occurring all throughout the Middle East, in countries such as Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and even Israel. This weather is not normal. And extreme weather is the exact evidence that would point to the Earth having a new wobble, a wobble caused by Planet X Nibiru. But weather isn't the only odd occurrence that points to the arrival of Nibiru. A bizarre phenomena being noticed by millions worldwide is that of the odd orbits of both the Sun and the Moon. Those who watch the sky are reporting in droves what appears to be the day-to-day change in the setting Sun and rising Moon. They proclaim that it's as if the Moon and Sun change orbits on a monthly, if not weekly basis. Those who proclaim something is wrong with the orbits of the Moon and the Sun say that they see the Sun set in a different area of the horizon. Also the same with the Moon when it is visible at night. Although scientists the world over or anyone with a telescope would notice such an event immediately if the Sun and Moon were actually out of orbit, but there is another explanation. Planet X Nibiru is causing an Earth wobble, which gives the illusion of the Sun and Moon having altered bizarre orbits. One thing is certain, something strange is happening in our weather, on our planet, and in our solar system. The Illuminati, the elites, the governments the world over are proclaiming that it is climate change or global warming causing these events. But we who have studied Nibiru know Nibiru is arriving, and these are just the beginning of things to come. Okay, my friends, you're all invited to join this channel by subscribing to End Times 23, which is a totally free subscription service. You're also invited to add me as a friend on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. If you'd like to drop me a line, by all means do so on my blog. Or if you'd like to join one of my circles, then you're more than welcome to do so, my friends. All the links are under this video. All this week's news links can be found on my website, endtimes23.com. The link is under this video. Just click on the link and go to the top left hand corner of the opening page and click on the Informer News Links tab. All this week's news links can be found at the top of the page under this week's titled video. Well, that's your lot for this week, my friends. I do hope you've enjoyed the show. I'll be back with you in a week's time with another edition of Cosmic News. So until then, this is your Informer signing off, friends. I'll see you on the flip side. Defense systems have warned that missile defense systems have been moved around so that they can take out any debris from the incoming meteor shower. They are using hidden rail missile defense systems. The State Department has been informed about this large incoming object that will impact the North Atlantic Ocean very soon. It will be a massive event, an extinction level event, with an imminent warning issued that an incoming asteroid is about to impact the North Atlantic Ocean. I've done some digging on the planet's surface. Huge tsunami waves spreading out from the impact site like the ripples from a rock tossed into a pond would inundate heavily populated coastal areas. A computer simulation of an asteroid impact tsunami developed by scientists at the University of California, Santa Cruz shows waves as high as 400 feet sweeping onto the Atlantic coast of the United States. The researchers based their simulation on a rail asteroid known to be on course An emergency warning has been issued by insiders from the Russian military that an asteroid will impact in the North Atlantic Ocean. The timeline for this event is imminent. This warning originates from YouTube channel Tom Lupshow. the Russian individuals that operate missiles, just to see what this major event would mean for all of us here on this planet of ours. This following warning of an asteroid impact that has been predicted to occur in the year 2880 originates from news ucsc.education, and this was posted on May 27, 2003 by Tim Stevens, staff writer. If an asteroid crashed into the Earth, it is likely to splash down somewhere in the oceans that cover 70% of the planet.